I've lived in this area. I specifically live on Sterling Place. I've been living there for a year and a half now. So it got me a little bit upset in hearing the answers that you guys were kind of giving us because me being a concerned renter, I can tell you that as far as the crime goes, I don't understand what you guys are saying that there's protocol for like the cops and the cars that's there because yeah, I see the car, but I don't see the cop. I see the lights, but there's no activity of the cop. So I think it's to the point where it's like, yeah, the cop car is there, but we all know that it could be any regular car sitting there. There's no difference in the cop car sitting there on that block. And yeah, it's there all the time. I can admit that. But to me, I still don't want to go outside. Like I come out of my house, my apartment, straight to the train, straight back. Like there's no me being outside because I don't trust that even with the cops being outside that I would be safe at all. And in me missing different shootouts by a 5 minutes or a 2 minutes with that cop car sitting there, like I don't get it.
So, I understand what you're saying, that you've seen the car, you've seen the cop sitting in the car, and that's something we do talk to them about. We do want them to get out, walk up and down, kind of be out there, be present. But that's the first step that we do. The first step that we're gonna try to take is to be there, be present, to try to deter them, to say, hey, well, the cops are here. Let's not go outside and do whatever we're gonna be planning on doing. So that's our first step. The next step is if they do come out, and they do something that is, is gonna violate a law, or a violation of some sort, then we expect the cops to then address that accordingly. But if they don't do that because they see them, that's kind of where we fall into this conundrum where it's like, well, if they're inside, or they're in an apartment, or they know we're there because this is their normal hangout, and then they go somewhere else and do whatever they're gonna do, or they get in a car and they leave. So it does happen that we have to follow certain laws and whatnot, because we can't just go ahead and just do whatever we want, you know that.
No, I get
But
it.
so the first step for us to do is to be present.
Right.
And like you said, if those cops are out there and you're seeing something that maybe you don't feel comfortable with, or maybe like it's like you're aware because you live there. You know, you may know the person much better than the two officers who was in the car. You know, I know it's hard to say, go up and talk to them, but maybe call 911 or text. I know you can text now, or you can even like wave at them. Maybe they'll engage you just in a normal conversation, and doing so, you can say, hey, listen, they're kind of hanging out around the hallway. Can you just maybe just walk through? And we'll try to address it like that. But the first step is to be present and be there to try to stop them from going forward with whatever plan they have.
Okay, so just to be clear, it's a little bit trickier because there's not like a protocol of like stop and frisk or you guys really being able to go out and,
Well,
be
stop the question first is a very
different.
go over, because there's different levels that we have to meet to move forward in order to stop them. So like, we can't just go and stop them. We have to meet some type of criteria before we can go and address the next step. And then we have to meet the next step. And then, but that also depends on what the person does in being us to address the next step. So if they're just walking down the street, and you may know, we may know that they're not good people, but they're not doing anything wrong, they're just walking down the street, there's nothing we can do at that point. Then be present and let them know that, hey, we're here, we're aware that Sterling is a problem, and we're trying to tamp down the violence by at least being present so they don't have that opportunity to just go about what they want to do.
Thank you.
So,
My next comment concern was pertaining to the gentleman here when he was speaking about sanitation and just on the block and just garbage and everything. And then I remember you saying something about like water and food and stuff like that. I mean, I can give examples like Sterling between Utica and Rochester, there was a fire hydrant that was leaking for 2 weeks straight. I called like three different um, numbers and it leaked for 3 weeks straight until finally one day it was closed. Now that also contributes, and that has nothing to do with the residents there, given the fact that it was leaking in front of a building that was under construction. You know what I mean? Like that's not helping us at all. far as garbage in general, my question is, as far as the pickup goes, to me, it just seemed like there was like a lack of interest in picking up garbage in like the last like couple months in this area. I can just say that. And if garbage is picked up, let's say if the bag had bust or like whatever, the remnants of whatever is just still left there, and then it ends up blowing everywhere, like what everyone else is saying. It's just like I can't walk straight. I walk like this, and that's an accumulation of garbage and like someone mentioned, people not picking up after their dogs.
So in terms of, I mean, if garbage is left, so it's complicated because it depends on who, caused it to the bag to rip. If the person is not putting their garbage out properly, then it's on them to clean up the mess. However, if our sanitation workers are, if they bust a bag in the process of putting the garbage in we're supposed to clean it up. So if that's not happening, you absolutely can report that. For sure, that's definitely a 311 complaint. You can let them know that, at this location, the bag, there's spillage. That's actually what you would say.
No, like I'm not talking like on the sidewalk. It's literally like piles of garbage like on the edge of the sidewalk, so you can tell that it's from a bag that busted in like some type of.
Well, the edge could also be if people are not maintaining in front of their sidewalk. The curb line,
Okay.
right? So it's supposed to be up to 18 inches. I'm not saying that the spillage can't occur, because that absolutely can. But people are supposed to be maintaining up to 18 inches into the street, and a lot of times they will look at their sidewalk only and stop there. And so there's litter and debris that piles up along the curb line that's not being addressed, which is also technically the homeowner or property owner's responsibility. So it just depends on the situation, but I'm definitely happy to follow up. In terms of collection, if there's miscollection, that's definitely something we can follow up on. If, the garbage is supposed to be serviced, your collection days are available to you. It's either twice or 3 times a week. And if it's not coming, in a reasonable fashion, again, definitely happy to follow up to find out what's going on, because that's not something that's supposed to be a regular occurrence. Yeah.
Also, if you see a spill or garbage not being picked up and you don't want to call 311, because I know that some people do have issues with 311 in terms of being put on hold and waiting a while to get a cleanup on their street, please contact our office. We're open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our contact information is in the back. We have had numerous calls come in, and we have a good relationship with our sanitation folks, and we also partner with other sanitation services that will be able to clean up that spill in, sometimes an hour, 2 hours after being called. In January, we also started a program called See Something, Say Something Sanitation Edition. So you could go to my social media, my Instagram, tap on the link, and there's a whole Google form that you can fill out if you don't want to call us, and just submit a picture, and we're able to notify our sanitation services on picking those things up. Now, that's only a temporary fix, but obviously no one wants to see trash in their neighborhood. We want to work towards long-term solutions, but if you want to see that trash picked up a lot quicker than having to wait on hold with 311, please do reach out to our office.
Thank you. My last question is, I just wanted to know, like, what rules is there that says, like, how many garbage cans can be on each street corner? Like, is there protocol that you guys go by to say, hey, this street corner will have 2 garbage cans as opposed to 4, or 1 as opposed to none?
So there's only 1 per corner. Or do you mean in an intersection?
Yeah, intersections and like residential corners.
So we don't put litter baskets in residential areas, on residential strips. So only commercial property, so where there's businesses, that's where we would put litter baskets. But litter baskets in general are complicated because we've noticed, they've done, studies with our cleaning office that in some places it actually attracts more garbage, where people are dumping and they're abusing the baskets. So one of the things we've tried to do to contend that, because we know some people do want baskets, is we promote the Adopt a Basket program, which there's also information